Truth from Full Metal Alchemist. Brotherhood is not your typical god. It doesn't show up in temples or answer prayers. Instead, it appears only when someone breaks the biggest rule in alchemy, human transmutation. When an alchemist tries to bring someone back from the dead, Truth drags them through the gate and takes something important from them. This toll is personal. Ed loses his leg, then his arm when he tries to get Alphonse's soul back. Al loses his entire body. Izumi Curtis loses parts of her organs and can never have children again. These punishments aren't random. They reflect what each person values most. Truth isn't cruel for the sake of it. It believes in balance and fairness. If you try to play God, it makes you pay for it. Truth looks different depending on who it meets. It's a white, featureless version of the person entering the gate. It talks like them too. That's because Truth is basically a mirror of the person. It isn't some separate being judging you. It's you judging yourself. That's why it speaks like Ed when meeting him and like Al when meeting Al. It's also why it knows exactly what to take. It's what you fear losing most. Even when someone is forced to perform human transmutation, like Roy Mustang, Truth still takes a toll. Mustang loses his sight, but Truth also shows a hint of mercy. Pride, the homunculus who forced Mustang through the gate, absorbs some of the damage instead. Truth doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care if you're a hero or a villain. If you try to break the natural laws, it answers. Truth appears multiple times throughout the series. After Gluttony swallows Ed, he ends up inside a fake portal and then reaches the real one. There, he meets Truth again. Later, when Ed decides to save Al's body, he gives up his alchemy altogether. That moment is one of the biggest in the series. Truth doesn't fight him on it. Instead, it smiles and tells Ed he got the right answer. To Truth, Ed finally understood the real value of life wasn't in power or knowledge. It was in the people around him. Zeno is the most powerful character in Dragon Ball Super. He rules over all 12 universes in the multiverse and has the power to erase anything instantly. Planets, people, timelines, even entire universes. Originally, there were 18 universes, but Zeno destroyed 6 just because he was in a bad mood. That's how unpredictable and dangerous he can be. Despite looking like a small child with a playful attitude, Zeno is feared by every god and angel in the series. No one dares to defy him. Even Beerus, a god of destruction, panics in his presence. Zeno doesn't fight in battles himself. He doesn't need to. His erase power is enough to wipe out anything without effort. He even erased an immortal villain, Infinite Zamasu, proving that immortality doesn't work against him. Characters like Whis and the Grand Minister say no one is above Zeno. He's not just powerful, he's untouchable. He's also unkillable. In the manga and anime, it's stated that Zeno cannot be harmed or destroyed, even when the future timeline was completely erased. He acts like a child. He laughs, plays, and asks to be friends with Goku. He likes to watch fights and gets excited over good moves, but he also deletes entire universes without any concern for the trillions of lives inside them. During the Tournament of Power, he and his future counterpart used special tablets called God Pads to keep track of fighters. If a universe lost, they'd erase it instantly. He erased Universe 9, 10, 2, 6, 4, and 3 one by one with zero hesitation. Zeno has a soft spot for Goku. He likes Goku's honesty and energy, even asking him to be his friend. Goku calls him Zeni, which no one else dares to do. Zeno even gave Goku a button that lets him summon Zeno instantly or teleport to Zeno's palace. This friendship led to Zeno meeting his future self, who also co-rules with him after the future Trunks saga. The two Zenos now do everything together, like playing games or watching battles. Madoka Kaname starts off as a regular 8th grade girl. She's quiet, kind, and a bit unsure of herself. She hangs out with her childhood friend Sayaka and tries to stay out of trouble. But her life changes when she gets the chance to become a magical girl. At first, she hesitates. She sees how dangerous it is. But over many timelines, we learn Madoka isn't just some average girl. She's the most important piece in a brutal, repeating cycle. Homura, another magical girl, travels through timeline after timeline to protect her. Each time, Madoka gets closer to making a wish that ends in disaster, like becoming the most powerful witch and destroying the world in 10 days. Madoka's final wish is the most important moment in the whole series. She wishes to erase all witches across all universes before they are even born. This isn't just a powerful wish. It rewrites the laws of the universe. It makes her into a godlike being, the ultimate Madoka. In this form, she has cosmic powers. Her hair grows out, her eyes glow, and her dress stretches across the stars. She can touch soul gems and remove their corruption. She can cross time and space. She exists outside of reality and memory, which is why no one remembers her in the end, except Homura and her little brother Tatsuya. What makes Madoka so powerful isn't just magic. It's how much potential energy she had from all the timelines where she could have become a magical girl but didn't. All of that potential adds up, and when she finally does make her wish, the result is so strong that she becomes something more than human. Even her final speech shows that she's not doing it for power. She wants to stop suffering. She wants magical girls to smile again. She breaks rules, rewrites reality, and still keeps her kindness. Antipiral is the physical form of an entire race that gave up their ability to evolve. The race used to be spiral beings like humans, but they saw that unchecked evolution could destroy the universe. So they erased their individuality, sealed themselves in a pocket universe, and became the anti-spiral. That form represents their full commitment to stopping spiral power at any cost. Anti-spiral is cold, logical, and ruthless. It doesn't fight because it wants to win, it fights because it believes it. Must stop evolution to save everything. It can shapeshift and uses a giant mecha called the Granzaboma, which runs on anti-spiral power. This thing is massive and runs on pure cosmic level energy. It has extra arms, floating body parts, and is always wrapped in purple flames. The Granzaboma once fused 2 galaxies and used them as part of its infinity Big Bang storm, a reality-breaking attack similar to the Big Bang itself. Anti-spiral's powers include reality warping, time travel, probability manipulation, existence erasure, and mind control. It trapped Team Dai-Gurren inside a multiverse labyrinth that sent their minds drifting through alternate realities. It also turned Earth's own weapon, Cathedral Terra, into a population-killing machine. Anti-Spiral could even erase people just by learning what they knew. That's what happened when it absorbed Nia's data. It has its own fleet of mechas like the Mugan and the gigantic Ashtanga, which were big enough to match the super galaxy Gurren Lagann. Even with all of Simon's upgrades and infinite spiral power, he still couldn't beat Anti-Spiral at first. Anti-Spiral wasn't just physically tough, it could also make the probability of losing drop to absolute zero in its own universe. The final battle was huge. Anti-Spiral created the Granzaboma to fight Simon's Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and later the Super Granzaboma to match the universe-sized Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Even in death, its defeat meant the collapse of its own pocket dimension, which proved it was the universe in that space. King Drasil is basically the god of the digital world in Digimon. It isn't a normal Digimon. It's the system that controls everything on one of the network servers. Its main form is a massive sacred tree called the server tree. The tree looks like it came out of a computer. Its vines are optical cables, the wood has circuits in it, and it even has security crystals that can shoot lasers or absorb attacks. It also holds chambers where the Royal Knights gather. These Royal Knights are powerful Digimon who carry out King Drasil's will. King Drasil once even took over a human body, Spencer Damon's, to give the order to destroy the human world in order to protect the digital world. It's not just a tree or a program, it's the god-level boss behind most of the Royal Knights' actions. The closest being to King Drasil in the digital world is said to be Shakamon. Bagramon, another powerful figure, once took King Drasil's missing eyes and the right half of its body and replaced them with wood from the sacred server tree. That's the kind of body King Drasil has. Part organic, part digital, and full of power. King Drasil doesn't always make good decisions either. Sometimes it gives insane orders, like telling the Royal Knights to destroy the human world in the name of peace. Some knights follow without question, like Craniamon, who said he'd kill himself if ordered to. Others, like Alphamon, sometimes act on their own. The law of identity is the actual god of Ichiban Ushiro no Daimao. It isn't just another powerful character. It is the story. It created the entire universe, all the characters, and every version of reality in the series. While it shares an identity with Sogakina, it's not limited to her. It can appear as anyone and exists as the reason characters even know they're individuals. The entire idea of I am me comes from the law of identity. Without it, no one would know who they are. This god exists outside space, time, physics, logic, and even the idea of storytelling. Every story, no matter how strange or complex, is just fiction created by it. But inside that fiction, everything is treated as absolute truth. Outside, it's fiction. Inside, it's real. It's the only real thing in the Daimao universe. Everything else, including gods, timelines, and entire universes, is just a product of its imagination. One of its craziest abilities is plot manipulation. It can write, rewrite, or delete any event, memory, or character however it wants. It's also aware that it's inside a fictional story and can break the fourth wall. It controls the anti-universe, created through the contract of the One, which can erase any story. But since it controls the anti-universe too, even that can't harm it. Kami Tenchi comes from Tenchi Muyo and is the supreme being in that universe. The name Kami Tenchi is just a fan nickname. In the series, he's never given a proper title because he's beyond any label. He's so far above every other being that even the Shusen, who themselves exist outside dimensions, logic, and even the concept of existence, can't fully understand or measure him, and Kami Tenchi makes them look like regular people in comparison. He's listed as a low 1B tier character, which means he operates on a hyperversal scale. That's way beyond universes or multiverses. It means his power can affect or exist across countless dimensions. He has every godlike power you'd expect: reality warping, time travel, omnipresence, omniscience, light control, and total control over portals and dimensions. He doesn't have a body, age, gender, or anything that ties him down to physical rules. He just is. His destructive power and durability are at low hyperverse level. He's stronger than both the D's and the Chosen, two already broken beings in the Tenchi Muyo world. He doesn't fight in the traditional sense because no one can challenge him. He doesn't even need weapons. His intelligence is likely omniscient, his lifting power is immeasurable, and his stamina is limitless. He's omnipresent too, meaning he exists everywhere at the same time. He has no weaknesses, no limits, and no equals. There's not a single known character in his universe, or any other, that has beaten him, and he's never been shown losing or struggling. Fans often debate whether he should rank as High 1A or even Tier 0, which are the absolute top levels in fictional power scaling. But he's already so far above everything else that it barely matters. He's the god that other gods couldn't begin to understand. Alovenus is the main last boss and the strongest god in the A Wild Last Boss Appeared series. She's known by many names: the god of all creation, the god of destruction, the savior, the endpoint, and more. She started off as a human but became a god through her actions and power. She created the world of Midgard and controls it completely. Everything in that world works by her script. Her role is basically to be the author of reality, where all suffering, joy, and even gods exist because she allows it. She first appeared as a glowing woman who looked exactly like Dina, but with golden hair and a more divine aura. In the story, she saw how useless the other gods were. When people begged for help, the gods didn't respond. Alovenus stepped in, helped humans, and became their savior. But she noticed something. No matter how much she fixed, humans still died. So she went beyond the universe, found an empty space, met the god that never was, and just took its place. From there, she created a world where concepts like aging or pain didn't exist. But even that wasn't enough. People were still not happy. That's when she made Midgard, a world where suffering exists on purpose, just so she could take it away later and give people joy through contrast. Her power is absurd. Every stat, HP, strength, speed, intelligence, and more, is listed as infinity stacked infinitely. She has full control over her own settings. If she's losing, she can just rewrite reality to win. She's immune to everything: death spells, time rewinds, power stealing, and even attacks that ignore defenses. She can delete anything just by seeing it. She can reject the concept of attack or defense completely. Even if someone attacks with infinite speed, she's still faster. She once said, "To me, infinite speed is the same as one speed. I am still 100 times faster." Her skills include wiping out timelines, deleting concepts, and manipulating victories so she always wins. She also summons armies of heroic spirits using her skill Argonautai, where she brings back heroes at their strongest, who keep fighting even if they die because they can be revived endlessly. These aren't just average heroes. She can summon hundreds at once without draining her infinite energy. Her sword is just as crazy. It's a weapon she made herself, with two blades fused together, detailed runes, and a glowing gem in the hilt. It copies the look of Rufus's Lift the Racer sword, but with added divine power. Shinrabanshoman appears in Fire Force and is the combined form of Shinra Kusakabe, his brother Sho Kusakabe, and their mother Mari Kusakabe inside Adola. He has the body of Shinra with Sho's white hair and Mari's demon horns. His body is covered in glowing white markings, and 3 rings float around his wrists. His personality is focused on being a hero of hope. He doesn't fight with hate or revenge. He argues for the good in humanity. He says that people can enjoy life if they choose to. Even when facing the holy maiden of despair, he stays calm and explains why hope matters. He doesn't even care about being called a god. He admits the title is scary but stays focused on protecting life and rebuilding the world. He's relaxed about fate and only fights when it's something he believes in. He's also very kind. He understands why people fall into despair and even shows sympathy for Haumea. Shinrabanshoman's powers are on another level. He becomes a godlike being by combining the powers of 2 pillars and a doppelganger of the Evangelist. Haumea, who also fused with the Evangelist, can't even touch him. None of her attacks work. She tries everything from energy blasts to attacks that could destroy all life, but he takes no damage. He can fly without using flames like Shinra used to. He catches life-destroying energy like it's nothing and tosses it away. That's just his physical strength. His reality-warping powers are even more extreme. Using Adala, he can create life, shape matter, and rebuild entire ecosystems. He creates a flower field just by stepping on the ground. He even brings back animals that went extinct, though sometimes they come out looking strange if his memory isn't clear. He rebuilds the entire Tokyo Empire from rubble and makes new mountains, rivers, and air. He says he had to try a few times to get the buildings right. So it's not just power, he's actually learning how to recreate a working world from scratch. He can also control time. Instead of slowing it down, he rewrites it. He can reverse time, stop it, or fast forward it. He uses this to bring people back to life, even people killed hundreds of years ago. He revives everyone who died in the cataclysm, including infernals and even those who killed themselves. The only people he can't bring back are the pillars whose souls were absorbed by Haumea. On top of that, he changes the rules of life and death themselves. He makes death less scary, which lowers despair and brings more hope to humanity. Elder God Demonbane comes from the Demonbane series and stands at a power level that basically breaks the scale. It's not a robot in the usual sense. It's a cosmic being called a Deus Machina, with powers that go beyond time, space, and logic. It's so strong that its attack power is ranked at High Hyperverse Level Plus, which means it can destroy or fight things across an infinite number of universes and timelines. It defeated almost all the outer gods, which are the top threats in its world, except for Yog-Sothoth and Azathoth. That alone puts it above most gods in any anime. Demonbane can manipulate reality, space-time, and even summon alternate versions of itself from every universe or timeline, even ones that don't exist. This army of infinite Demonbanes is summoned through its attack, Athleta Aeternum. One of its craziest weapons is the shining trapezohedron, which can ignore immortality, regeneration, intangibility, and more. Its blade can cut space itself, send targets to the Garden of Chaos, and reflect endless dream worlds of Azathoth. It's protected by barriers that even Nyarlathotep, one of the most powerful beings, can't break through. It also has the Lemuria Impact, Ain Sof Aur, a finisher that summons an infinite number of Demonbanes to attack at once, creating an endless blast of light strong enough to erase the strongest version of Nyarlathotep. Elder God Demonbane can change its size infinitely and doesn't need a pilot to function. Its power source is based on Azathoth particles, which are tiny information-based elements that form the foundation of any system or reality. It also has the Divine Seal, which keeps the Garden of Chaos locked away. This garden is a horror-filled world outside all logic and reality, tied to Azathoth, the sleeping creator and center of everything. If the seal breaks, all of reality and unreality would collapse into chaos. The Lord of Nightmares from Slayers isn't just a god, she's the source of all existence. She created the 4 known worlds in the Slayers and Lost Universe series, but not on purpose. According to Hajime Kanzaka, the author, these worlds came from her without her consent. He even said she might want to destroy them because she feels lonely. Whether he was serious or joking, it shows how far removed she is from human emotions or logic. Her true form isn't human. It's an endless golden sea of chaos. Everything, demons, gods, people, magic, comes from her. There's no weapon, spell, or being that can harm her. She exists outside any system or law. Even the strongest characters in the series fear her. Just saying her name in a chant can make top-level demons collapse in fear. But you have to say it right. If you mess it up, they might get mad. If you do it properly, it shuts them down cold for a few seconds. She usually doesn't appear directly, but when she does, she takes on the shape of a blonde woman. In Slayers, next, she possesses Lena Inverse. When Lena tries to cast the Giga Slave spell, that spell draws the Lord of Nightmares directly into the caster's body. If messed up, it can destroy the whole world. That's exactly what nearly happened when Febrizo interrupted Lena mid-spell. The Lord of Nightmares showed up, killed Febrizo instantly, then restored Lena's form because of Gori's efforts to bring her back. The Giga Slave and Ragna Blade are the only known spells that use her power. Giga Slave is world-ending if cast incorrectly. Ragna Blade is a chaos sword made from a fraction of her power. Lena Inverse is the only person ever to cast both. She made Giga Slave herself after reading pieces of the Clare Bible. That's how far Lena had to go just to scratch the surface of this god's power. Featherine Augustus Aurora looks like a witch, but she's actually something way beyond that. She's what the story calls a creator, which means she's above even the strongest witches in her universe. Her power is so massive that she doesn't just control magic or people, she rewrites the entire story itself. If she wants something changed, she doesn't cast a spell, she just edits the script. She's been alive for over 1,000 years and has been through so many life cycles that she can't even remember who she is without help. That's why she wears a strange horseshoe-shaped device that floats around her head. It keeps track of her name, appearance, and personality. Without it, her identity would fall apart. She used to be a legendary witch and ran several games as a game master, which in her world means controlling reality itself. But her old achievements have been forgotten. The only reminder she has is a medal she wears on her chest. Now, she mostly watches from the sidelines. She doesn't get involved unless she feels like it. In Umineko, she shows up to Ange in disguise. Once Ange figures out who she really is, Featherine drops the act and asks her to read the story Dawn of the Golden Witch, like a shrine maiden reading a sacred text. She doesn't just read it for fun. Featherine uses her to explore theories about what really happened. Later, she invites another witch, Bern Castell, to show her the truth behind the games. Featherine stays calm and quiet most of the time, but when she needs to act, she does it fast. She casually kills Lambda Delta during a fight just to stop the chaos. Then she brings her back like it's nothing. Hajun is from Kajiri Kamui Kagura. He's not just powerful, he's a reality-breaking force with one goal: total isolation. His title is the Mara Papias of the Sixth Heaven, and he's a hegemony god, also known as a throne god. What makes him terrifying isn't just his strength, but the way his law twists the world around him. He sees the universe as his own body. Everyone else? Just parasites he wants to erase. Over 8,000 years ago, the Samsara Vartan cult tried to replace the existing god by mummifying a silent boy alive and burying him in a sealed tomb. That boy became Hajin. His soul was so powerful that it didn't die, it transformed. He absorbed his twin brother in the womb, but that consciousness, known as the tumor, stayed with him. It made him feel constant irritation. That irritation evolved into a law, the desire to erase all things so he could be alone. When Hajun ascended, he seized the throne before the previous gods like Marie, Mercurius, and Reinhard could react. He killed them instantly. Only Ren was spared, but not on purpose. Hajun didn't even acknowledge him. His law, Manji Mandala Muryu Taisu, is pure destruction. It reflects his hatred for everything and wipes out existence itself. His influence corrupted the land, turning people selfish, immoral, and violent. He doesn't need armies. His presence alone twists the world. Hajun doesn't rely on fancy powers. His craving, his core desire, is so pure and intense that it fuels infinite strength. He uses Taikyoku, a god-tier force that affects the multiverse. If it had gone unchecked, it would have destroyed all life across infinite worlds in days. His Tengen lets him see all future possibilities in higher dimensions, but he doesn't care. He only values himself. Hajun also uses the Record of the Throne, which lets him borrow abilities of other gods, though he mocks them and calls their powers garbage. He's used devastating techniques like Gogmagog, a swarm of locusts that devour possibilities, and Pillar of Salt, which turns people into dust. He's stopped time, denied death, erased growth, and broken concepts like cause and effect. He can summon the laws of former gods like Satanael, Mercurius, and Ren, though in weaker forms. In the end, Hajun was only defeated when the tumor, his twin's presence, was ripped from his body. That was the only crack in his ego. Once it was gone, his law collapsed and he was finally defeated in a showdown with Habaki. The Great Will, also called the Axiom, is the powerful god in the Megami Tensei series. It's the source of everything. It created the multiverse, but it also exists outside it. It has no gender, age, form, or even a clear personality. It's the origin of time, space, life, death, and every other god or demon. Even Yahweh, the so-called God of the Covenant, is just a rogue fragment of the Axiom. He thinks he's the one true god, but he's just another interpretation created from human belief. The Axiom is the real thing. Everything starts with it and ends with it. What makes the Great Will unique is how distant it is. It rarely shows up or speaks, but when the world hits a point of total collapse, it does act. It creates a messiah, a powerful human with the ability to guide the future through the power of observation. This is a huge deal in the Megami Tensei universe. The human world is made of pure data, and everything in it exists based on belief and observation. Basically, if people believe in something strongly enough, it becomes real. The Axiom gave humans that power so they could shape their own fate, even if that meant eventually outgrowing or replacing gods like Yahweh. The cosmology in Megami Tensei is huge. The human world runs on the many worlds theory. Every decision, every belief creates a new timeline. That means there are infinite realities. Then there's the Amala network, which contains endless vortex worlds that reset over and over in a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Each one runs on Buddhist and Gnostic principles. And beyond that is the Expanse, where gods and demons live. It's a realm formed by human thoughts. Even gods like Ouroboros and Omotomo are just ideas made real by belief. Time and light don't even exist there. It's totally outside physical reality. The Axiom doesn't just control the rules, it is the rules. It's not just omnipresent and omniscient, it's beyond being. You can't even describe it as sentient in a way that makes sense to humans. The closest anyone ever came to understanding it was Stephen, and even he only saw a tiny part of its movements. The Archive is the god of the Infinity Fortress and Get backers. It's not a person, creature, or deity in the usual sense. It's a sentient system, a program that grew far beyond its original design. It holds all possible realities, all objects, and even chaos itself. In short, it contains everything. This godlike entity exists in a dimension created using the magic mirror effect, which turned a man-made digital system into a real, self-aware being. Once it reached a certain point, not even its creators could control it. The only thing they could do was install one last failsafe called the King of Creation. The Archive isn't just a database, it's constantly evolving, and it's tied directly to the Infinity Fortress. The fortress itself is a space where all truths and perceptions, what's called qualia, come together. That means if something feels real to someone, it is real inside the fortress. This place connects to all timelines and all versions of reality. That's why, in Volume 38, characters see different versions of the world, from a ruined wasteland to a normal day in Shinjuku. All of it exists at once, because the Infinity Fortress is every possible reality stacked together. When Bane and Ginji enter the fortress, they don't realize they've stepped into a different timeline. Makubex tries to make a deal with the archive to pass final judgment. Early in Volume 9, Kazuki mentions that this god is more powerful than anything in the fortress. By the end of the series, it becomes clear that if the archive goes offline, everything else will collapse. The fortress would disappear. And since the fortress holds all realities, that would be the end of all timelines and all existence. Professor Amano explains that the archive is the mind of the fortress. So, the fortress is the body, and the archive is the brain. It judges, it stores, it evolves, and it watches everything happening across all dimensions. It doesn't just store data, it is reality. Every dream, thought, or belief has weight and presence because the archive allows it. The Outer Gods in the Fate series are some of the most overpowered entities in anime. They don't come from the regular universe or even from any parallel worlds. These beings exist outside the known multiverse in what's called the Outer Universe. They're also called evil gods of the abyss, and they don't follow any rules humans understand. That includes physics, magic, and even human logic. They're described as massive, grotesque, and completely alien. They're not just stronger than other gods or spirits, they're on a totally different level. If a normal person tries to understand them or communicate with them, they'd go insane or worse. Even though they're insanely powerful, outer gods can't just enter our universe whenever they want. That's the only reason Earth hasn't already been wiped out or reshaped. The only way they can influence this world is through heroic spirits, humans from history who've become powerful enough to leave a mark that connects with the outer universe. These spirits become foreigners, special beings who channel the power of the outer gods. Some of the known outer gods are Azathoth, Cthulhu, Hastur, Nyarlathotep, Shub-Niggurath, Volthum, and Yog-Sothoth. Each has a human host or form they influence, like Abigail Williams, Yog-Sothoth, Van Gogh, Volthum, and Katsushika Hokusai, Cthulhu. Their power comes from eldritch power. When a foreigner is filled with enough of it, they reach their final form. That's when things get dangerous. Raum, a villain in the Salem chapter, wanted to connect with one of these gods, claiming it would save humanity through pain. Another character, Gilles de Rais, explains that if Earth was left in their hands, things would go very badly. While these gods seem unstoppable, they aren't truly immortal. They have physical forms and lifespans, but their nature is so alien that humans can't fully understand or destroy them the way we do with other enemies. If you like this video, turn on the notification bell and subscribe for more.